What's the most cringeworthy fashion trend that must never make a comeback? Rat tails. Every boy had that when I was in elementary school and it was just such a bad idea. I thought it was abolished after the 3rd grade, but at work a few weeks ago I saw a kid rocking a rat tail and I cried a little. I'm a 34-year-old woman. I am ashamed to admit that the rat tail trend was at its height during my pubescent years and I thought it was the hottest thing ever on a boy. Was in middle school in mid-80s and the breakdancing boys like to sport rat tails. That hair fad goes hand in hand. Mulletsimo. Please don't make a comeback lol. My 6th grade social studies teacher had one. A woman. The neighboring language arts teacher hated it and always tried to get her to cut it off. One day the LA teacher casually walked into her classroom while she was teaching and walked up to her and snipped it off. The SS teacher was so pissed but all the kids thought it was so funny. Looking back, that was a really shitty thing for the LA teacher to do. I sometimes wonder if she's grown it back since then. 13 years later, I was with one of my friends in a grocery store when a dude with a rat tail walked by. My friend instantly gasped, "I love rat tails," with a hint of longing in her voice, like she wanted him to throw her over his shoulder, toss her at the back of his 2004 Ford Ranger, and make sweet hillbilly love to her behind the burn barrel at his stepdad's trailer house in the country. I had a stats course where the lecturer had one. He was chill as fuck, but I still don't understand why that was his hairstyle of choice in 2016. Apparently just before this he had long hair. I guess he wanted to keep a souvenir when he decided to buzz most of it off. You know that old show on VH1 called The Pickup Artist? Whatever the fuck they were wearing. I too like to dress like steampunk fucked Burning Man in a New Jersey Hot Topic. You probably do, you fucking weirdo. They look like they bought half their stuff from Hot Topic and whatever else they wore they got by raiding the closets of Chris Angel and Tommy Lee. Shirts with cartoon characters dressed like gangsters. Bonus points if they're airbrushed. When I was in Nepal, I saw a shirt with a poorly drawn cartoon gangster character who had a shirt that said "fuck hip hop," and on the top of the shirt there was a text that said "hip hop rulers." It was so cringy that I wish I'd bought it. My niece and I had a matching pair of shirts with Elsa and Anna dressed as punks. Hissings, tattoos, smoking, everything. Bad idea overall. When I'm in high school, 1979 to 1983, we had this thing where you would wear your shorts on top of the sweatpants. Although it looked stupid then and wag my head in disbelief now. Ah, yes, as immortalized by Josh Brolin and the Goonies. I remember Kelso on that 70s show wearing the same outfit. It was the episode he eats raw eggs and has an allergic reaction to them. Extremely thin eyebrows. All the drawn on ones way above their natural height. Some people just want to always look somewhat surprised. I got nubs for brows and I draw the rest on every day. Sometimes they come out how they gonna come out. Can we settle somewhere in the middle? Because right now it seems that eyebrows are taking over foreheads. The thinner the eyebrows, the crazier the chick. The world needs those as a warning lol. 11-year-old girls with cartoon mustaches on everything. People got tattoos on their fingers of that abomination. A lot of the mustache finger tattoos were part of Movember fundraisers. A ton of our local shops, Toronto, had $50 mustache tattoos and 100% of the proceeds went to the Movember Foundation for prostate cancer. Cringy, yes, but for a good cause. I'm surprised and mildly infuriated that no one has said the blown up hairstyle that the Jersey Shore men had. I don't remember what they were called, but it was pretty fucking annoying to sit behind them in high school. There's a friend of a friend who has that hairstyle today. He's massively overweight, wears cheap chains, and insists we call him Gino. He's not even Italian. Dude, I'd fucking hang out with him. Hell, I'd buy a fake Rolex and a Hawaiian shirt just to hang out with old Gino. Ed Hardy. Ed Hardy is the only line of clothing I've seen banned at certain clubs. Just because the people wearing them were always 90% douche. My mom got me an Ed Hardy cologne for Christmas one year. Probably the most, thanks, gift I've ever gotten. It smells predictably like something a middle school boy who hasn't yet discovered deodorant would hose themselves with. She got me this when I was like 20. Those sweatpants that say things like juicy or moist on the butt. Edit. Thirsty hemorrhoids flatulence. Festering. Fart box. those car decals with Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes peeling on something. I had a friend who had a sticker of Calvin pissing on a sticker of Calvin pissing. I now want an Ouroboros of Calvins pissing on each other. Even more upsetting because Bill Watterson, the creator of the strip, never allowed Calvin and Hobbes to be commercially licensed. Every single damn one of them was a copyright infringement and illegally made. I saw one on a pickup truck of Calvin kneeling in front of a cross. Praying. Never has someone so obviously never read Calvin and Hobbes. 90s suits. The 90s was a time when the fashion industry tried to cure AIDS by dressing people in a way that made nobody want to have sex with them. Zoots always had an exaggerated look. You can still get them today, they just have a specific event, time and place. It was a poor choice of a 90s suit example considering there are way more normal suits from the era. Zoot suits were a look but not their typical 90s suit by any means. Dress over jeans. Let me add a skirt over jeans. Frosted tips. I think Guy Fieri is the only exception to this. He wishes he could change his look but he's stuck in that style now, if I recall correctly. I'm pretty sure I remember that too. The look is too ingrained in his brand now to change anything. Credit to him though, he somehow pulls it off. I love the fact that he was running late and just randomly threw on the first shirt he grabbed, which happened to be a bowling shirt for his interview with Food Network, and now he has to live with that decision for the rest of his career. OMG, I never heard that, but that is hilarious if true. Kind of like Bob Ross getting his fro since he was low on cash. Don't think he hated it, but he was also stuck with it as his shtick. Frosted tips are coming back. You heard it here first. All 90s early 2000s fashion is coming back very soon. A lot of people in this thread are in for a rude awakening. I already saw Instagram models with tribal t-shirts. One of my machinists still rocks the frosted tips. It's supremely distracting when I have to go out to the shop and talk to him. But I can't quite help but stare in horrified fascination at them as I try not to forget what it is that I needed to have him do. The giant teased up bangs. I used to call it the claw. My mom still does this. She doesn't understand that the 80s went away. People tend to kind of lock in when they feel they are at their prime. For some people it's in high school. For many it's around 28, 29 and you don't really age mentally beyond it. Wish I could remember the name of the phenomenon. Sagging. I used to sag when I was 13, 14. It's a regrettable part of my adolescence. Teachers always told me to pull them up. I did, but they'd go back to sagging 4 minutes later. One day a teacher brought these rainbow suspenders. He hot glued some big plastic flowers and hearts on them. He gave me a choice. I could wear them for the whole day or be sent home and have my folks contacted for violating dress code every day. I chose the suspenders. This teacher got a hold of my schedule and popped into whatever class I was in to make sure I was wearing my adornment. I started wearing a belt after that. At least it was a funny punishment and not some completely huge punishment for such a small thing. I was in high school when Soulja Boy was popular. He had to do community service, so he came to our school to give a talk. He said there's a time and a place to sag your pants, but school is not the time or the place, but he never said what was the time and the place, so I'm still wondering 12 years later. A young man walked past me yesterday and his pants were sagging so low they were below his groin. Why even wear pants if you're letting me see all of your underwear? I could never understand the people that sag. Whenever my pants start sagging I get really uncomfortable and embarrassed. Baggy men's suits. Edit. I don't know what an NBA is and I don't care to find out. They make grown adults look like they're playing dress up. Reviewer wants to know your location. I don't know the name of it, but the Tintin hairstyle everyone had in the late 90s. Don't worry, many of us who had that are bald now and will never be able to style hair again. That's cute on innocent 9 to 12 years old boys using hair gel for the first time to go to their first dance or those first big kid birthday parties. Then they're supposed to grow out of it. Where I'm from, we call this the Chelsea Baldy Man. I have no idea why, but the haircut is horrendous. The snooky pose. I was in a grocery store last night and saw a drunk 19-year-old with this hairstyle trying to buy more alcohol with her real it. It was glorious. She sounds like the embodiment of Snooki. Bowl cut. Lip liner that's a darker shade than the lipstick. I see you've met some old Latinas. I had pants from Limited 2 that zipped off to become capris, and also zipped off to become shorts. They were bright orange as well. Hope those never come back. I had these fluorescent, blinding, bright blue pants from Limited 2. They were made of some weird fabric that after sitting for a period of time when I would stand up they would be stuck to the back of my legs. I loved those things and would try to secretly unstick them from my legs, but it was so obvious. I also loved my lime green shirt and shorts outfit from there. I had an orange pair like this, the sides zipped open to reveal some grey mesh that made them bell bottoms. Bonus parachute material so everyone could hear you swishing over to the pencil sharpener. Honestly hope they do come back. Those pants were dope and I want to wear them again without getting weird attention from it. Lead-based makeup and toxic cancerous-based nail polish that was prominent in the 70s. Sports jerseys that go down to your knees. Sometimes they're real. I own a professional hockey jersey and it's massively oversized compared to the person who actually wore it. They have to be in order to fit all of those pads underneath. It doesn't go down to my knees but it does get pretty close if I wear it myself. Clogs. I don't know if it was a regional phenomenon, but in the late 1970s, all the cool kids, boys and girls, wore shoes with 2-inch wooden soles. The high school hallways sounded like a cattle stampede between classes. There was a brief period where hollow clogs became popular, and it just got ridiculous. You literally could not have a conversation in the hallway. My high school banned them, but it backfired, because after clogs came taps. Dear God. An entire high school filled with kids wearing metal dance taps on their shoes. It was if someone put microphones and the mechanical innards of a million manual typewriters and then piped the audio into the school PA system with the volume turned up to 11. And you could slide in those things, wear the metal down a bit, and it was essentially frictionless. Kids were going stepsly all the way down the halls. Thankfully, the damage to the linoleum was so noticeable that those things were banned within a few weeks. I'm starting to see it less and less with those douchebags that keep the gold size sticker on their flat bill pass, which is a crime in itself. I sincerely hope you get hit by a Segway walking down the street. Key and Peele do a funny skit about this. I heard that they're a ghetto fashion because it demonstrates that they're new, a rarity for a community which often gets second-hand clothes. Dunno, though. What I know is they're also meant to show they're official and not bootlegs. Have you ever actually tried to peel a sticker off a hat before? It leaves remnants of glue and paper on it that's quite hard to get off and there's always a chance the sticker has discolored stained the fabric underneath so you'll always have a weird circle-shaped stain on your hat. Not saying some people follow a trend but if you ask any real one they know. The one thing that should start is pockets. Women never have pockets and it's the most annoying thing ever. The worst is the fake pockets. It shouldn't be so difficult to add pockets to a pair of jeans. It's a conspiracy with big purse. Drop crotch pants, please. Ah yes, the full diaper look. Mullets. It's too late at my school. The undercut with a super long top tied into a greasy man bun was this generation's mullet. Oh shit, I've been growing my hair long off and on for about a decade now. Just last summer in 35° weather I asked my local bartender if his undercut made it cooler. He said yes so I went straight to the barber, got an undercut, and came back to the bar. I guess I have a new mullet now. Solid Snake made it work though. Kurt Russell. I have never seen a flattering mullet. Also in high school my girlfriend's dad had a skullet. Straight up bald on top, grew the backside parts out long enough to tie it back. Pointy bras. Lara Croft. In the early 2000s there was a trend for girls at the club to wear these shirts that only had one strap over one shoulder. Think like a muscle shirt with one shoulder strap. But most girls felt super self-conscious wearing something that exposed so much skin floor's back fat, so they would wear a shirt underneath it, nullifying the whole point of the shirt. It looked awful. The Tarzan top. I saw a lady wearing one downtown 2 days ago. I wonder if they are staging a comeback? Popped collars. Multiple popped collars. Ironically, the original design of the collar on polo shirts was partially meant to allow the wearer to pop their collar during a match to cover their neck from the sun. So, popping your collar on a polo shirt is no different than pulling up your hood in a hooded sweatshirt. Not saying I'd ever actually do it, but it's technically proper usage. I wear my trench coat with a popped collar.